From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, January the 28th, 2019. The IDF is investigating the death of a Palestinian man over the weekend, reportedly killed by a Jewish man from the West Bank outpost of Ad. There are conflicting reports, though, as to what actually took place, with the Palestinians claiming that outpost residents attacked them, while the Jewish residents claiming they were attacked and acted in self-defense. And in a separate incident in the West Bank, a resident of the Jewish settlement of Emmanuel was arrested on suspicion of attacking and lightly wounding two Palestinians. In Jerusalem, a 17-year-old Palestinian was arrested after he was found to be armed with a knife at the Damascus Gate in the Old City. He was taken for questioning. Israel sent a humanitarian aid delegation of soldiers to Brazil after the collapse of a dam led to massive flooding in the city of Brumadinho, with hundreds missing and dozens known dead. 130 IDF soldiers are now on the ground in the country to take part in search and rescue efforts. An official Israeli visit to Ireland in March has been canceled, this in light of Ireland's recent passage of legislation that criminalizes the importing or selling of any goods that originated in the Golan Heights, East Jerusalem, or the West Bank. Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein made the announcement saying, "We are happy to take the time to go to a country that wants to cooperate with all of Israel and not just parts of it, instead of wasting our time in a country that obsessively looks for ways to hurt us." Well, after banning Israeli athletes from competing in an international competition in their country, Malaysia's hosting privileges are now taken away. The International Paralympic Committee announced yesterday that it was stripping Malaysia of the right to host the Paralympic Swimming Championship because of its refusal to let the Israeli Paralympic team take part. IPC President Andrew Parsons said all world championships must be open to all eligible athletes and nations to compete safely and free from discrimination. He said when a host country excludes athletes from a particular nation for political reasons, then we have absolutely no alternative but to look for a new championships host. Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesman Emmanuel thanked the IPC for their brave decision, writing on social media, "This is a victory of values over hatred and bigotry, a strong statement in favor of freedom and equality." The American Jewish Committee, who had petitioned the IPC, called the decision a great victory for the Paralympic spirit. AJC CEO David Harris said the IPC governing board has sent a crystal clear message that it will not tolerate violations of its own code of conduct. Blatant discrimination by Malaysia against athletes from Israel was just that. The families of the astronauts of the Space Shuttle Columbia are in Israel this week to take part in the country's Space Week, as well as to attend the annual memorial ceremony for the Israeli member of the Columbia crew, Israel's first astronaut, Ilan Ramon. Ilan's widow, Rona Ramon, invited the families before her death last month from cancer. Her children asked Israel's President Reuven Rivlin to meet with the families on her behalf. The Columbia crew were killed in 2003 when the shuttle broke apart while re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Rona Ramon created Space Week, which includes conferences for researchers and educational events for over 100,000 children. International Holocaust Remembrance Day was marked yesterday with ceremonies and events around the world. In Poland, former prisoners of Auschwitz gathered to place flowers at an execution wall as well as candles at the site of the former death camp. In Prague, thousands of paintings drawn by children at the Theresienstadt death camp were on display at the Pinchas Synagogue. In Berlin, a grassroots organization set out to clean Stolperstein, the commemorative brass cobblestones dedicated to Holocaust victims that are embedded in the city's sidewalks. In Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Holocaust survivors and listened to their personal stories in his residence. And Israel's President Reuven Rivlin also met with survivors as well as young volunteers from Germany working with the organization Action Reconciliation for Peace. A special remembrance ceremony was held at the United Nations where Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, "We are here together to remember the victims of the Holocaust, the 6 million Jews and many others murdered during a period of unprecedented, calculated cruelty when human dignity was cast aside for a racial ideology." The White House released a presidential message for the somber occasion, which concludes, "Never again" means not only remembering in a profound and lasting way the evils of the Holocaust, but it also means remembering the individual men and women in this nation and throughout the world who have devoted their lives to the preservation and security of the Jewish people and to the betterment of all mankind. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, January the 28th at 7 o'clock. It's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth. At 7:30, the documentary The Last Resort is in the spotlight on Jewish Cinematheque. At 8, Shurat Hadin founder Nitzana Darshan-Leitner discusses the ways in which she is using courts of law to bankrupt terrorism. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with CEO of the Institute for Monitoring Peace and Cultural Tolerance in School Education in Israel, Marcus Sheff, on L'chaim. At 10, the Archbishop Timothy Cardinal Dolan discusses the common ground between Judaism and Christianity with Rabbi Peter Rubenstein. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's the ILTV debate program, Frenemies. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, January the 28th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.